All right. Good morning or afternoon. We are going to get started. Welcome back to Art. Start with a little teacher humor, a little art teacher humor. Why did the painting get arrested? Because it was framed. If you have siblings, they probably already heard this joke. Or if you have cousins, they probably already heard this joke. All right, clear your space. We are talking about texture.
Oh,
Texture is the way things feel. We can feel with our hands. Let me get out the way over here. We can feel with our feet. We can feel textures in our mouths or our mouths. That's why we might like or dislike certain foods because of the texture, the way it feels in our mouth. Or we can feel textures with our whole body. When I was younger, my parents used to buy me these really itchy sweaters. Now I can't stand the texture of sweaters. Here's some examples of textures. We have a kid playing in foam. So we have a foamy texture. We have a fashion shirt that looks really uncomfortable in the middle. I don't know how you would describe that texture. Maybe rough. And on the right, we have the sand between our toes. So a kind of dusty or sandy texture.
huh?
Bruh.
Thumb sideways or down, I will come around. I can either answer your question or help you if you need help.
Oh, really?
Here's some more stuff about texture. The way a surface feels or looks like it might feel can bring up happy feelings, sad feelings, angry feelings, or other familiar feelings. Sometimes artists like to use this knowledge to try and get emotions out of people who are looking at their work.
Oh, really?
Texture is literally everywhere. You have smooth textures, rough, soft, spongy, hard, fluffy, spiky, slimy, and so on and so on. Artists will use lines, shapes, and colors to try and duplicate the texture of a surface. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So, this t-shirt on the left looks like if you touched it, it might feel like the texture of a dog. The artist wants you to buy that t-shirt based on the feelings that you might get from petting a dog. On the right, you see that the artist used lines, shapes, and colors to recreate what looks like different textures of mountains, grass, trees, leaves, tree bark, and even clouds, and even a dirt road.
Huh?
Bruh.
So, thumb sideways or down, I will come around.
Hmm.
I want you to describe the texture of an object that you have in your hand, or if you don't want to use any object that you have, you can use the clothing on your body. Try and describe any of the textures on the clothing of your body. What does it feel like? Some things might feel different to different people. Somebody might say that something feels soft. Another person might say it feels squishy or fluffy. Timer is over, halfway done. Timer is over, 3/4 of the way done. All right, great. Moving on. Here is an example of what we're going to be working on starting today. This is called henna art. It is a temporary tattoo design. The design is sort of raised up off the skin, so it has a texture to it. And remember, temporary means it doesn't last forever.
Huh?
Bruh.
Thumb sideways or down, I can come around. Here's what we're trying to accomplish for this project. I can trace and cut out the outline of my hand and forearm. Illustrate a variety of henna designs, at least 10 different ones, onto the fingers, hands, and forearm. I can collage my cutout to a colored background outline. You'll see in the upper left-hand corner, in order to get the highest grade for this project, you need to meet all of those objectives, or I can statements. All right, let's do some stuff.
Let's go.
So, this is I do, you do. It's where I describe how to do something, and then you do it. So, I do is the red time. That's when it's my time to talk, and you guys are quiet. And then the yellow time is you do. That's when you guys can talk and work at the same time.
Let's go.
It's called modeling. All right, go ahead and get out your supplies. Step one is to make sure that our paper is portrait ways, where we have the long sides on the edges, on the sides, and the short sides are on the top and the bottom.
Bam.
Like this. That is portrait. We are going to
Bam.
place our hand and forearm on the paper. Now use the hand that you do not write with, because we're going to trace it. Save some space in between the tops of your fingers and the tops of the paper. You don't want to go too high. Now, holding your hand and your forearm still, you are going to use the pencil
Bam.
You're going to trace
Para para pa
around
para pa
the
pa
outline
para
of
pa
the hand
para pa
and form. So now you should have something that looks like this. I want you to write your name with the pencil right down at the bottom. Make sure it's on the form. We're going to end up cutting this out. So if you put your name out here or if you put it on the back of your paper, there's a chance we might lose your name as we go forward. So name right at the bottom on the form. All right, let's talk about henna art real quick. Let me move myself out the way. So it's formed from the crushed leaves of henna plants. The origins of henna trace back to India and Egypt, about 3400 BCE. So the Egyptians used it, and Egypt is in Africa, and they also used it in India. So about the same time. The purpose of henna art can be cultural, social, it can signify one's social status, ceremonial, religious, for medical purposes, which you'll see in a later video. The design can change based on the culture that's applying it. For example, the African henna is more geometric, while the Indian henna is more floral. Here is a video I was talking about, art as medicine. The henna can be applied as medicine.
When we talk of Indian marriages, we immediately think of the mehendi ceremony. Beautiful henna drawn on intricate patterns on the hands and feet of the bride. Why do we apply henna, apart from the fact that it looks beautiful? There is a very scientific reason behind this. Applying henna cools the body and brings down fever and headaches. Traditional Hindu marriages are long drawn out affairs. They create a lot of stress and sometimes fever. Applying henna on the hands and feet brings down fever and reduces tension, cooling the body. Henna is also an important antiviral and antifungal agent. It helps to keep rashes down and brings down fevers and other ailments.
All right, so this is a very well-known henna artist. Her name is Nita Sharma. I'm trying to get out of the way for the information. So she was born and raised in India, but has traveled all over the world to Asia, Australia, Europe, and even North America. She's a self-taught henna artist for over 2 decades. So remember, 1 decade is 10 years. Currently, she works in California in the US. She can do any type of henna art, but she loves the traditional mehendi wedding art. Here's some of her work. See on the hands and the fingers and the wrist, how all these designs are connected. Very intricate work, small details. Here's some other examples on the hands and fingers. Here's an example covering all the fingers, the hands, and the wrist going down to the forearms. Here's another example covering the hands, fingers, wrist, and all the forearm almost going down to the elbow. This one's very intricate. Very nice design work. Here's some henna art on the feet. More henna art covering the hands and fingers and forearm. All right. So you will create your own henna designs. I'm going to give you a book, and you can either use the designs in the reference book, or you can use the designs as inspiration for your own original design. But you want to have at least 10 different designs. Some of the bigger designs in that book, in the reference book, may count as like 3 designs. So if you do 3 designs that are big connected to each other, then that can count as 10. But you want to do the designs connected with a pencil.
Para para pa param para pa pa para param para pa pa.
You see how a lot of the designs are connected. So you want to have designs on the fingers, you want to have designs on the hand, and you want to have them on the forearm. If you don't have your name on the bottom of your forearm, then you want to get it down there. Remember, it's on the forearm because we're going to cut this out. And if you put it out here on the edge or on the back of your paper for this project, you're going to end up probably losing your name. And I won't know whose is whose. All right, once we have all your designs done and it's approved,
Bam.
I'm going to give you a Sharpie, and you are going to retrace all of your designs.
Para pa param para pa pa para param para pa pa.
Carefully.
Bam.
Now we are going to cut out our hand and forearm. I'll do it again. We're going to use our scissors, and we're going to neatly cut out the hand and forearm with the designs on it. Let me get out the way so you can see this nice scissor design. Oh, it won't move. Never mind. Oh, there I go. Now we are going to flip the hand and forearm over. So you see the name is on the front. We're going to flip it over to where it's blank. We're going to be using a glue stick. We're going to flip it over to where it's blank. Do it again. Name is on the front. We're going to flip it over. And then we are going to apply glue to the back of our cutout. I'm going to give you a colored sheet of paper, and you are going to glue the hand and forearm design to the center of that paper. We want to put it in the center because we're going to be tracing and cutting this out again. So we want to have a colorful outline all the way around, even at the bottom. So make sure that you glue it to the center of the paper. Now we're going to take a pencil and we're going to kind of put this in a bubble. We're going to trace around it. But this time we don't want to get close to it. We want to go a little further out, and we want to trace that same shape with a pencil
Para
around it.
para para pa.
So remember, a little further out. I'll do it again. We don't want to be right up on it like how we did when we traced our hand and forearm the first time. We're going to go a little further out and we're going to trace that shape to make kind of like a frame or a border for it. Once you have it traced, now we are going to neatly cut that out again.
Bam.
With scissors.
Huh?
Bruh.
Thumb sideways or down, I will come around.
Uh-oh.
So these are examples of giving up during work time. And these are examples of doing your best. You are all done. Good job.